We see India in 2047 in terms of GDP, in terms of India's growth story. I was laying out the historical background that 30 years back, India used to be I think, 300, little under $300 billion economy. 91. Little under $300 billion. 91 or 92, one of these 2 years, you can again check it out. We're just about $300 billion, give and take a few billion. 30 years later, we are 11 and a half times, or 11.8x. And bear in mind, these 30 years have not been smooth sailing. And I don't mean only black swan events, or I don't mean the COVID pandemic, or fuel surges, or the Ukraine situation. I'm talking in terms of the enabling environment for business and industry and economic activity in India. While of course we had a series of actions in 91 which we called the first generation reforms, then we had a situation of coalition governments for several years, and governments which didn't even last their full term came and went. We had political uncertainty, we had high inflation, we had huge amounts of corruption scandals, we had uncertainty about the future growth potential of the country. Despite all of that, if the country could grow 11.5 or 11.8x in 30 years, given the strong foundational work that has happened in the last few years, given the fact that today we have fundamentals of the macroeconomic character of the economy as a very strong, vibrant economy, the fact that we are considered a trusted partner across the world, the fact that countries are literally wishing to expand trading arrangements, free trade agreements, comprehensive economic partnerships with us across all continents in the world. The fact that we have a decisive leadership, forward-looking leadership, we have technology, the latest technologies with which we engage with today. We have a talent pool which is truly outstanding. We produce the maximum number of STEM graduates in India annually. We have a huge diaspora of 30 million across the world who can add value to our own efforts, who are also in a way potentially large investors. I don't know if you have ever studied, but China's growth story came largely not out of foreign direct investment of foreigners. It was the overseas Chinese who put in the maximum money into their own country. And the overseas Indians are not wanting to be far behind. My own engagement with all of them seem to suggest they want to do much more in India. We have to grab the opportunities. We have to give good deals. We have to give good offerings. We have to give good products, services, value propositions. There are many overseas Indians, and apart from that, of course, the whole world today is looking for investment avenues. We've had a little hiatus because of high interest rates in the US and Europe, UK due to high inflation. But my own gut feeling is that it's a temporary phenomenon, which will have to be turned quickly. Otherwise, growth story in the developed world is going to take a big hit. And in all of this, the world recognizes India as a bright spot. The world recognizes India as the one country which can actually drive economic growth. And in this context, that lady in the Startup India Advisory Council, when different figures were being bandied around the room, raised her hand and said, "Sir, if we are talking of India at 2047, then shouldn't the target be to make it a $47 trillion economy?" And come to think of it, you look at today's 3.5 trillion. we are almost seeing a similar level of growth, what we saw in the last 30 years, albeit achieving it in 25 years, which I think should not be a challenge, given the fact that so many things have happened in the last decade or so, 8-9 years, which have completely changed the way the young Indian thinks, the way India works. The fact that today we accept quality as an important factor is itself a big mindset change. Many of you youngsters may not have experienced it, but certainly some of us older people in the room, not too many here, but the older people in the room will remember, you go to the market, you'd always be looking for a product which said, for export quality. And then you felt, yeah, this must be good. Am I right, madam? And then you would say, yeah, this must be good if it's for export quality. Are the Indian consumers, and here I speak as Consumer Affairs Minister, I don't think Indian consumers deserve a raw deal. I think they deserve the very best, whether in goods or in services. But I find the country today is willing to accept quality and its importance. I was at a program this morning at Greater Noida, and frankly, if any of you has the time, I would urge you as youngsters to visit this Elekrama exhibition going on in Greater Noida. Tomorrow is the last day. It'll make you proud as an Indian.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें, और हां, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए न्यूज़ 24।